I'm going to show you how you can feed your entire family garden fresh produce all year long, even when those plants aren't in season anymore. Let me start with my last bag of my summer tomatoes from last year. This is a bag of Edox and super sweet cherry tomatoes along with my very favorite little tiny spoon tomatoes that are about the size of a pea. They are a huge pain in the butt to pick, but they are delicious for throwing into eggs, pasta, salads, things like that. What I do is after I pick them and the times when there is a plethora of tomatoes, I flash freeze them on a sheet pan like this, lay them out single file, put them in my freezer for about 3 hours until they're frozen. Then I can put them in the bag and they stay individually frozen just like this, and I can pull them out whenever I need them all winter long. Here you can find my trusty assistant, my daughter Charlotte, and you can see that starting her on garden fresh vegetables like this cucumber that she's gnawing on is teaching her really healthy habits from an early age. How do you like your cucumber, Charlotte? All right, we are ready to make our make-ahead egg muffins. These are awesome for babies who are just starting baby-led weaning, toddlers, kids. I even grab one on the go on my way to work sometimes. You want to start with about 8 eggs right into a mixing bowl or a glass bowl that you can hand whisk. And then you do want to add about 2 tablespoons of the dairy of your choice. I make these on a weekly basis and they're perfect for using up whatever leftovers I have in the fridge that I need to get rid of. So I'm going to actually use some sour cream instead of milk or cream like I normally use because I have about 2 tablespoons left in the carton, and I would love to get this out of my fridge so that I don't have to keep looking at an almost empty container. So I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of the sour cream in there, and I'm probably also going to add just a little splash of milk. So I'm going to add a little splash of whatever milk you have on hand. There we go. And if these were just for myself, I'd probably spice them up a little bit heavier with salt, pepper, cayenne. But since they're for my daughter, I'm going to use a fairly mild spice. This is a Spanish paprika. This is my absolute favorite spice company, The Spice House. I'm just going to do about a teaspoon in there. And then she really likes garlic. Who doesn't? I'm going to put about a teaspoon of garlic in there as well. And that is it. We just need to mix that up, and then we will add that over top of our vegetables and our cheese into our muffin tins. Okay, so we used our stand mixer to mix up those eggs. Again, a regular whisk in a bowl or even a fork is fine. Should look something like this, fairly liquidy consistency. Then we're gonna grab a muffin tin. You could totally do this in a casserole dish, cast iron, any kind of pan. I pretty frequently make frittatas and I use potatoes as a base in my cast iron, but it's a similar concept. These are nice for on-the-go grabbing for myself. I eat them sometimes on my way to work. My daughter loves them for breakfast. You just want to line this tin with muffin tins or with a nonstick spray. These also freeze up so well, which is one of my very favorite things about them. So again, I use up whatever vegetables and cheese I have left over in my fridge. Today, it's red onions that I've already pre-chopped, and then those gorgeous freezer tomatoes from my garden last summer. I have, like I said, super sweet Edox tomatoes, and my very favorite, these are perfect for this. My daughter absolutely loves them. These are spoon tomatoes. They are a total pain to pick, but I love them. My neighbors love them, so I will grow them every year. I am a true believer, and those are by Baker Creek. Excuse my daughter, she is eating carrots and cucumbers right next to me. Gotta instill that love for garden food early on. So I'm gonna grab a spoon. Any spoon will do, but you just wanna spoon some vegetables into each muffin tin. That's a little bit too many onions, but I will say my daughter from a young age has always liked onions. I love to put spinach and greens in them as well, but unfortunately I don't have any of those right now. Charlotte, would you like to help me? Would you like to help me scoop the tomatoes in there? You want to see these? You want to smell those? I love how kids are so curious. It is really fun to get them involved in the cooking process. So I'm going to let her feel some of these tomatoes, play with them as I'm cooking. It's a little bit easier to do this with my hands. My daughter was demanding another cucumber. So we got her a cucumber and we are back on our way to filling our muffin tins. Broccoli is great, leftover squash. Honestly, anything you have on hand is really, really perfect for these. I love to use up my garden tomatoes. I don't let any of them go to waste. So you will always catch me freezing any leftovers that I have all summer, giving them away. We do not believe in wasting vegetables around here. I tell you what, I am not as into canning as I would like to be. So if anybody has any beginner canning ideas, please let me know. It does make me a little bit nervous to do it at home, but I know that it is an awesome way to use up garden goodies and eat them all year. So please share those tips with me. I use whatever cheese I have on hand. A lot of times I prefer to grate it myself, but this, you can't beat the convenience of pre-shredded cheese. So for a recipe like this, where it's not super important that it's super, super cheesy and stringy, I'm okay with using pre-shredded cheese. Because the name of the game is using up what we have, trying not to waste, trying to use up last little bits of things to create fridge space. I hate when the fridge is full of leftovers and you can't see anything and you can't, because the name of the game is using up what we have, trying not to waste, trying to use up last little bits of things to create fridge space. And then this is where the fun comes in. So we are going to fill up these muffin tins. You want them to be about half, no more than 2/3 full. So it's always a little bit of a game of how much is going to spill. So let's see how I do today. Again, these I'm doing right now as a freezer make-ahead meal, easy to drop off at daycare for her, easy to grab after a full day of work. You pop one out of the freezer and it's healthy. My daughter loves them, fresh, tasty, but you can totally make them in a larger casserole dish and just cut them into pieces. I also make a lot of quiche, especially on a weekend morning or if we're having guests over. It's a very similar process. These are egg bites. Would you like to see these? This is my daughter who is being very patient. So this is exactly what we're looking for. Again, yours may look a little different if you use different ingredients than I did, but they should be about 2/3 full. They're perfect to go in the oven right now. And again, this took me all of about 10 minutes and I used up all things that were already pre-cut, pre-sliced, ready to go in my fridge, and I have several weeks worth of easy meals to put in the freezer and fridge for my daughter. So these are the egg bakes right as they come out of the oven. They do deflate a little bit, that is totally normal. They end up in these nice little grab and go packages and are chock full of garden fresh veggies and leftovers from the fridge. They are even baby approved. Hope you enjoy.